Need a water.
There it is. Okay, now it's working.
You get it?
Yeah.
Hey, did you see this thing I got?
I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, that we got it when we were doing the videos, and I'm gonna stick it out here. I bet somebody just walks around it. Need a water.
There it is. Okay, now it's working.
You get it?
Yeah, there's a bit of a delay.
Hey,
Let's see. Somebody's in there. Jedi Biker 600. Let me figure out how to make this a separate window. Okay. All right, now I should be able to see the chats. Can you hear us, Jedi Biker? Can you hear us, Jedi Biker?
Cool, everything go? Are we good?
Yeah, we're live. There's a bit of a delay, probably about a good 10 to 20 seconds. Yep, he can hear us, so that's good. Yeah, we're live. There's a bit of a delay, probably about a good 20 seconds.
Okay. Coffee, Blaster Factory shirt. Got my hat on because my head's sweaty. Been outside painting these two big dragon heads.
Oh man, I haven't been outside since this morning, but it's already hot.
It's terrible, man. When's it gonna stop?
Well, I just got the notice that we're supposed to get another week of 100 plus.
Are we live now?
Yeah, we're live.
Wonder if anybody's watching.
We got one person on.
Oh wow. Well, yay. Hey, there's that. I don't know if you can see it. The dragon heads. It's kind of blurry.
Cool.
These things are pretty big. They're a prop to go on one of the t-shirt launchers. So I was out there messing with them. I'm actually going to Dragon Con tomorrow in Atlanta, which I've never been able to get tickets for that doggone thing in a hotel room. It's huge.
Wow.
Because supposedly I'm going to start having a booth at this thing next year and some of the other Comic Cons. I'm going to take the factory
for the blaster stuff.
Yes, sell some blasters, or until they might throw me out. I don't know.
Well, I guess we're see if anybody else is going to come on before we.
Yeah, it's kind of short notice, but
get on topic.
Yep.
This says 4 watching, but there's only 1 in the chat, so I don't know how I can see who's all watching.
New territory.
Yeah. Well, only 1 person has said anything in the chat. Oh, there's somebody else. Jorge Ortiz. What's up, guys?
Hello. Sorry, it's kind of short notice on the live thing. We do these things by the seat of our pants sometimes. So
yeah. Yeah, this is our first live, so it should be interesting. There's a weird delay. It's crazy. I had to turn the audio off on that on the YouTube thing. It's like 10, I think it's like 20 seconds. It's quite a bit.
Wow. Let's see here. You know, I did finish one of these and did the cutout right there, which was pretty easy. I'm actually gonna put them in a machine and maybe make a few of them, but I did that little cutout with a Dremel tool in about 2 seconds. So
yeah,
and I haven't printed this any more of these. I actually got to get one more for that side, but that's a cool little build. This is actually a good feeling blaster
compared to the long one.
Yeah, I mean, it'll take me a couple more weeks probably to get all these parts and pieces ready to start selling them in a package, but still, man, it's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is whoever's gonna win it can pick one, I
Sure.
guess.
And I probably ought to grab this thing over here. Or grab the other one.
We got 5 people on now.
I went in the other room. Got
Yep.
this one. And it won't be ugly like this because you got to finish it.
Yeah. Yeah. I left mine in the safe and I didn't get it out today. But
Well, hey, getting off topic, people are starting to watch, but what'd you think of Ahsoka?
yeah, I liked it. I didn't have much to gripe about, little nitpicky things. But it's just so far it's a bit slow for as long as it is.
Yeah, well, this episode's kind of, it was a little not as much action, I guess. The first two were pretty good, but still like it,
I like it. Yeah, I like
What
it
they
too.
call those whales? That was really cool.
I forgot they mentioned it in there, but they were from Rebels. They were
Yeah.
at the end of Rebels, and
Yeah.
then I mean, it's been so long since I saw Rebels. I saw it when it came out, and then I haven't rewatched it since.
That was a good story. I'm glad they brought that back. The characters are all really good in that.
Yeah,
I
that's the
didn't-
cool thing. The robot. So the interesting thing about Hu Yang, the robot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if you watch Clone Wars, he lived on the Crucible. That's what the ship was called, like the Jedi lightsaber ship. That's where I got Crucible custom props from, because I started out doing lightsabers.
Yeah.
And I figured it made sense, since I was making lightsabers, that it would be the Crucible, from the Crucible ship. And then I made a logo a long time ago that was kind of like parts of his face outlines. I just never went and did anything with it. So
yeah. No, that what I like. As soon as I saw him in there, it's like, wow, that's where he ended up. I guess
yeah.
Order 66 didn't take him out.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, because supposedly he's super ancient. I don't remember what they say in the series about how old he was, but I just know it was for like many, many generations or whatever. Someone says the AA battery says, I really enjoyed this week's episode, although I thought it could have been longer. And then the whales are called Purgill.
Yeah. Yeah. The length of them, the first two last week, that's great. You got these 2 long episodes. Why do they get all of these characters together and make these just short little things? At least make hour episodes. Make about 20 episodes in a season. When I go back and watch the old series, everybody watches probably real young, but now you get a season, you got 8 episodes. Yeah. Back when I was a kid, you're watching Gunsmoke or
20
any series back then, had to have like 30 or 40 episodes a season. There's
even
like 1,000 of them.
We end up watching a lot of Korean dramas at home. Yeah. And even the short ones have like 12. Most of them are like 16 or something. I mean, I don't understand why they can't do that.
I don't know. It seems like when you've got all the characters and everybody's, all the props are there, you like make a series, I don't know. I'm sure it's financial, it always is, but hell, I'm thankful that they've done this and ain't screwing it up. I mean, I've liked all of the stuff they've done.
Yeah.
Some of it's better, some of it, I'm happy to see any content with it, but it seems like, Ahsoka's are always like that character, in the Clone Wars. So
yeah, no, I really liked her. We saw the first Clone Wars movie in the theater when it came out, the introduction of her. Mm-hmm. And I was on board like right away. It's like, oh, this is cool. Anakin's got a Padawan. And then throughout the whole Clone Wars, that built that relationship and the way how the Jedi treated her and Anakin, and it made his fall to the dark side way cooler and more believable, because it added so much substance of how it built over time and how they lied to him and treated her like crap and all this kind of stuff, and it just made sense. And then when she walked away, I was like, man, that's just another chink in the armor for him to turn to Darth Vader.
Well, that's kind of Lucas always pulls these things from real life.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what happens with all governments and systems. You start getting disillusioned, it starts becoming financial, you start getting politicians involved, all of a sudden you're generating an endless war.
Yeah.
It probably doesn't help that the leader of it's, running both sides, but still, yeah. I saw some things too. I didn't realize that Jedi survived Order 66, and a lot of them were given that ultimatum, to either join the new empire or be killed. I guess
it makes sense because a lot of them were out during the Clone Wars, that they were out dispersed amongst the galaxy, doing stuff.
What was it? There's a book out now talking about that's become canon now, and I haven't read it. But they said that Palpatine had given the order and spread the Jedi out so far apart in order to make that happen. Put people around them, to see,
isolate them
see
a
which
bit.
one, to see which ones were getting, kind of disillusioned. So,
would you? Yeah, I mean, you would think that unless they got surprise attacked, like the thing that they showed in the movie was most of the Jedi Masters getting taken by surprise and getting wiped out.
Yeah,
but there had to be circumstances of, it just in reality there would be circumstances where somebody was in the bathroom or something when the order came across, and somebody survived. They were just taking a dump, and then
right.
they're like, wait, what's happening? They come out,
everybody's dead, but and then you've got this now what's the I can't remember any of the people's names. I have to keep going back and look, but you've got this new master. He's not really Sith though, is he? And he's got a Padawan. Somebody's watching. What's the guy's name? That actor actually died.
Yeah, he died. He was from Rome. He first time I remember seeing him was in that show Rome.
Yeah,
he was Titus Pullo in that one.
Yeah, really great.
No, his name is Balin Skull or Scroll or something like that.
Yeah,
Balin, I don't know is his first name. I don't remember what his second.
Man, his Padawan, she just looks so just like one of those depressed outcast girls, sits in the back of the classroom ready to flip out.
Yeah,
she's pretty intense.
Yeah, she is, and I'm curious about the helmeted guy. That's what I was
going to ask. Well, that's a robot, right?
I don't think so. I think it's a person. But I saw some rumors, some theories that it might end up being Starkiller, like from the video game.
Really?
Which would be cool, and maybe cool, maybe not. Kind of depends. We'll see. That would be. I think if they brought that character into the main canon, that would be badass.
Well, you know what? He's in some of the fights. I guess he's using the Force, so he's not a robot. He has to be a person.
Yeah. But he's got one of those Inquisitor spinny lightsabers.
Yeah.
So a couple of the chats say, AA Battery says, apparently episode 4 is going to be 40 some odd minutes long, so it's a bit better. And he has a feeling episode 4 is going to be a big one. And Balin Skoll, Skoll, and Shin is her name.
Okay, yeah.
Someone said no Jar Jar. That would be Jar Jar's under the mask. That would be Misa kill you all.
Well, you know that the have you ever seen any of the other things they talk about Jar Jar at the end?
Is the ultimate Sith.
Well, he ends up going back, and he's like an outcast in his own society. He's like a street, kind of a bum. So, that was kind of a weird character. I guess the kids kind of liked it, but yeah, everybody seems to kind of hate him.
When we first saw it in the theater, I was okay with it, except for just some of the cringy dialogue, kind of when it was like "squeeze me" and that kind of stuff. That bothered me just because I was in my 20s and I was just like, ugh,
I think that was more geared to that younger generation there with that. But
but when I showed Luke, I showed my son episode 1 when he was younger. He liked it, so it hit the mark. It hit the mark for the kids. They were like, "Oh, he's funny,"
Yeah. Well, like I always say in every video, be careful how bad you bash this stuff. If you don't like something, I mean, somebody's creating it. And, it's like, I'm pissed off about the Han Solo movie. I didn't think it was that bad of a movie. I enjoyed watching it. Now, I wish it would have been the props kind of, I always will look at the props. Probably.
Yeah.
I was really very, very disappointed that was an airsoft pistol and they didn't do that right. That was important.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
everybody
because you have
bashed it so
you have
much, they ain't even making another one. So
the
there you
resources
go.
of Disney behind it to make it right, and they screwed it up. I don't know.
Yeah.
One
Well,
of the comments says, I'm betting on either Star Killer reference or corrupted Barris Offee. And I thought Jar Jar was funny when we first saw it, but I was 3. I guess that dates us.
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Speaking of dating, like when I first saw, I was born in 76, so I don't remember seeing Star Wars, the first one, for the first time. I don't remember that particular moment. I just remember having seen it and it just being a part of the thing. I've watched it multiple times. That's all I remember. But I remember seeing Empire the first time because I remember my reaction to Darth Vader saying he was his father, that I was like, no, he's lying.
I'm 1969. I actually saw it, when I was a kid. I didn't know anything about it. My dad said, "Hey, there's this new movie," and I saw it in a very small, like about 100-person little theater in downtown Greer, South Carolina, and I actually got to see the original one when it was out and the hype was going on. So
wow, yeah, that's cool. No, I saw Empire in some capacity. I don't remember where I saw it. I just remember my reaction to that scene. I was like, no, he's lying. That's not true. And then Jedi, of course, I saw in the theater with my dad and everything. I remember the first day we went to go see it, we stood in a long line. It was at a mall movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we got about 10, 20 people to the box office, they announced that the entire night was sold out. And we were like, no. So we had to come back, and we saw it the next morning. And I remember like the whole beginning of it thinking, where's Luke's lightsaber? Why doesn't he have a lightsaber? And then when he got it on the sail barge, I was like, oh, that's great. Everybody, I remember the whole theater flipping out because it was green.
Yeah, well, without the internet back then, everything was more intense.
Because I remember specifically seeing there were trailers, but I don't remember seeing the lightsaber because the lightsaber was such a surprise when it was green.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever aired those commercials of it with a blue lightsaber or not, or if they just didn't show a lightsaber. They may not have. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I remember being very surprised by that scene.
Yeah. Well, all of that stuff back in those days, I mean, the effects were, nobody had done anything like that. I accidentally, when I was trying to look at some of these old Rebels things, I actually run across a movie that maybe some of you guys have saw that I thought was pretty cool back in the day. It's called Ice Pirates.
Ice Pirates, yeah. I don't remember it. I've seen it, but I don't remember it. It's been so long when it came out.
It's kind of a terrible story, but looking back, back then it was cool.
Yeah.
So the effects weren't quite as good as what Star Wars was doing.
That's when everything was like some kind of space thing. There's Ice Pirates, Buckaroo Banzai, and other things.
Well, and then when Firefly, well, that's more 90s stuff, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's great. People should see that.
If you haven't seen Firefly, you need to watch Firefly.
Yep. And then watch Serenity to tie it up.
Yeah, the movie.
We got 8 people watching now. Yeah, somebody just said you can still find some of the OG Revenge of the Jedi commercials where Luke's saber was blue online. Yeah. I remember seeing that, but I don't remember in what capacity I saw that.
Yeah. Hey, everybody watch. If you got any comments about the Ahsoka stuff, let us hear it. I liked it. This last episode, like me and Scott were talking about, if you just joined us, thought it was a little slow. They're kind of building towards something, doing a little traveling. I guess they just figured out what they're doing with that hyperspace ring, which I like to see that in operation. I guess that's probably next episode, or well, maybe it might be at the end of the series, because that's probably when Thrawn's going to walk through the door.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't even, is it only going to be 8 episodes, this whole thing, or 6 or something? I
haven't even looked, but
I haven't either.
I hope it's at least 8. That's minimum. That's kind of stinks if it doesn't.
AA Battery says Firefly deserved a much better run, in my opinion. Such an underrated show. And then Ninja Spider says Ahsoka looked good, sounded great. The characters are all a little too stoic and lacking in energy in terms of the dialogue, though. Then Life Coast Graphic says I can't be the only one who is really not liking the series. Yeah, I mean, there's people are gonna like it, not like it. Just depends.
Oh, somebody said they didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I think with a lot of shows or sitcoms or movies, I think it takes a little while for the cast and crew to kind of gel. You know, just they're very rarely. Oh, sorry about that, guys. We shooting t-shirt launchers here.
Couldn't hear it.
Could you hear it?
No.
Okay, good. They're out there shooting a t-shirt Gatling gun. But you know, it takes a few shows sometimes for them to kind of gel together. So
yeah, and I think part of it is like I'm on board with the Ahsoka show because it's all the characters that I liked from the cartoons. So I'm on board. I'm already have that ingrained in me that I like. I'm hoping for this to be good, you know, that kind of stuff. But I can totally see how some people are like already checked out and not digging it yet. I get it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've noticed too, just in the messages I've gotten the last few weeks, how many Star Wars fans have not watched Clone Wars and have not watched Rebels.
I think part of it is because if they didn't do it while it was coming out, that's a whole lot of stuff to go back and get through.
Oh man, Clone Wars. I mean, if you haven't watched Clone Wars, go watch it. I mean, you've got weeks worth of stuff to watch, you know?
Yeah, that was great.
That was great.
Then there's a lot of little side story stuff that doesn't really further the whole big plot along, but there's a lot of fun stuff too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite episodes was this. You remember in episode 2, they had the diner guy with the 4 arms and shit that Obi-Wan went to go see.
Yeah.
The dart. Well, they have a Jedi. He's either a master or he's just a Jedi. Anyway, he's turning bad at the same time. Right. He was awesome. I don't remember if you ever saw that episode, but he was.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
His lightsaber sounded. They were both double-bladed lightsabers, but since he had 4 arms, he could do all kinds of crazy stuff. He was badass. That guy was cool.
Yeah,
Pong Krell. His name was Pong Krell.
That was like one of the seasons, I think, and he was getting a bunch of the clone troopers killed.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, whatever. You guys are just
you're disposable. Here, go die. Yeah. Yeah.
That was cool. They needed more. That was cool character development too. You had, because not everybody's an individual, and some Jedi would probably not just go along with everything.
Yeah.
Which I guess Count Dooku, apparently, he was like, you know what? I'm questioning all this stuff. I'm just going to see what else is going on.
Yeah.
But there's some comments here.
See, my camera's kind of.
I still have high expectations after Andor. Ahsoka has to raise the bar, I think. And then AA Battery says, I see it as if you liked Rebels, you'll like Ahsoka. If you didn't, then you won't like it. Then Ninja Spider says they used to say it took half a season for a show to come into its own, and those were 20-episode seasons. These little 6-episode shows are rough on that front. Oh my God, is it only 6? No, Ahsoka is going to have 8 episodes this season.
Yeah, see, you got to remember these actors. A lot of you guys never been on movie sets before, but you know these people are flying in for a day. Boom, they're doing this stuff and rehearsing, and you know, a good example. Okay, I shouldn't mention Star Trek stuff right now, but you know, I'm a Star Trek fan too. But God, you know, Next Generation had tons of it, and the first few seasons are kind of but then all of a sudden they're like family. You know, and even the original Star Trek series. I mean, you know, they were out there killing aliens, you know, before kind of they even developed a real plot. So, you know, you got to give them a little bit of time. And you know what? Maybe some people are just way too critical of it. You know, it's just be thankful we've got something to watch, and you know, and you know, they're doing a lot of good stuff. You know,
yeah. Well, that's why I think I think people didn't give the cartoons a chance because of the format. It's a cartoon. But they had way more chance to develop characters through it, to think about the things. Yeah. There was less stuff to deal with in producing the show, where they could focus more on the character development, the stories, you know, doing the visual acting with the character animation and stuff like that, and re-recording lines. Whereas a live action TV show, once you put it down, unless you're doing reshoots, that's a ton of money to do a reshoot for something like that. Gotta got people back in, you gotta do all the crews, everything. Everything's gotta be set up the way it was. And
Yeah.
it's crazy. So there's just not as much
Well,
leeway for them to.
probably some of the prop guys follow me. I don't know if they're watching this yet or not, but you know what? I do like the look of the props.
Yeah.
Doing a good job with this. And, I think they've learned from some of the other series. But we're watching, a lot of the Star Wars fans are looking for that kind of stuff, especially the costume. Now, the costumes, like in that episode where they got on the ship and they're basically wiping out the crew to rescue what's her name, which somebody will chime in her name. I can't remember her name, but their costumes are these terrible colors. But I can see the rebels doing that. But everything around them, because I'm looking at the walls and all the greeblies and stuff they've got everywhere, is really cool. It's really intricate. Whoever's building the sets is doing a really good job too.
Oh yeah, the sets, the droids. I hadn't paid much attention to the lightsabers, honestly, except for just the general shape. Because I know people will be on it, and I'll just go digest the thread of all the pictures and everything at some point. But they look cool. The only thing I noticed is they look big. Like, I don't mind the length, just they look girthy. Like,
theirs are. When he was analyzing them, they have
long
lightsabers.
Whereas these they're kind of small.
Well, I guess it's just personal preference.
The prequel ones too, they're pretty small too.
Yeah,
Skinny.
Ahsoka's are not that big. She's the one.
No, her new ones are freaking long.
Really?
I think they're long. They're
thin.
Like her original one is still my favorite one. I wish they hadn't changed them. It would be cool if she had just kept, but I can't remember now in the cartoon. Did she lost them?
She got them back though.
No, she lost them. She got them back. Anakin did something with them. He upgraded them or something. I can't remember. Okay. And then at the end of the Clone Wars, the one they finally finished, she lost them again when she was saving Rex, if I remember right. And then Anakin as Darth Vader.
You think we're going to see those guys show up in this?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Rex? Yeah,
I mean they should. They got Timora Morrison to just put a beard on and
that'd be interesting.
Let me catch up with some of these comments. My dad this is AA Battery. My dad was totally thrilled with Ahsoka, but he didn't watch Rebels, which I told him to like 1,000 times. Left Coast Graphics. This whole series feels like a cartoon side story. Yeah.
It is.
AA Battery.
It's a continuation. It does. It kind of feels like Clone Wars is kind of continuing.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like a movie, an epic just movie. So
but there's quite a long time span in between them.
There is a couple years, 2 years.
More from Clone Wars, because you got to go Clone Wars.
It's 2 years after this. I think they said in the series
because Clone Wars
after they disappeared, after Bridger disappeared, right?
Right, but Clone Wars ends at the beginning of episode 3. And then you got episode 3, Andor, Rogue One, episode 4, 5, 6, and then you got years until Mandalorian, and then I guess you got a couple years of Mandalorian time span, and now we're at Ahsoka.
Was Sabine? Was she? I don't recall her being like a Jedi or using the Force back in those series.
I don't think so. She was just a Mandalorian, and she had the Darksaber for a while.
Yeah,
I thought, man, it's been a while. I need to rewatch that, I guess. But
yeah, I don't know how she lost it. I don't think it ever. She always had it in the series. I wonder how she lost that.
Bo-Katan ended up with it. I thought
Bo-Katan's got it now, but
then she lost it.
Gideon
somehow
had to have got it from Sabine.
No, I think Sabine gave it, or somehow Bo-Katan got it at the end of Rebels.
Got to go back and watch that.
Yeah, I got to go back and watch. I don't remember. Maybe
she did have it briefly, and then Moff Gideon got it from her.
Yeah.
man.
Another couple comments here. The siege, the siege of Umbara is one of the best Clone War arcs.
Mhm.
I think that's the one with Pong Krell.
Yeah.
Stagecraft is not a movie set. That is why it feels cheap.
What is that now?
Stagecraft is not a movie set. That is why it feels cheap. Can you maybe
Elaborate on
your
that.
comment a little bit? There's a ton of vintage 70s found in props in Ahsoka. Yeah, I've noticed that. There's like lots of like handheld stuff.
You know what? I had one of my observations that I was talking to, people around the shop here the other day. You know how all the technology nowadays doing all this. Oh, there's my Shepherd from Mass Effect, but all the technology now is all this touchscreen crap. It's kind of like the way Star Trek is. I freaking hate it. I'm tired of pushing buttons or fat figuring stuff and things not responding. Why hasn't our technology evolved the way Star Wars has into the future, where you got a nice big old button or or something like this right here? Anytime I'm out at antique shops or something, I always look for old control panels with big old switches. Building. Star Wars just has that going on. It's just more user friendly, and if you press a button, it does something.
It's more fail safe.
Yeah,
more fail safe.
It drives me crazy nowadays. Even on your car, anything, you'll hit a button, but it didn't do it. You hit it again and it works. It's like, what the hell?
I was watching bring that up. I was watching a video of a new McLaren. I like cars, so I'm into cars big time. But as you can see by some of the cars back there, but anyway, this new McLaren, so they have a touch screen, well, not a touch screen for the dash display, but all the infotainment screen, and then all the critical gauges are all a display. And then the displays are overheating, and all the climate controls and all the controls on the touch screen won't work if the screen doesn't work. So literally there's like nothing they can do to change the temperature or do anything or see any information whatsoever because the damn touchscreen is out. And that's what's crazy is like when you have an old analog car with analog buttons, if that button doesn't work, it's the button, or something like that.
I wish we'd switch gears in our society, quit doing this digital touchscreen crap and go back to having tactile switches and buttons. And I mean, the stuff's cool. It works. It don't break. My wife, she just got a brand new Macan Porsche. Okay. The entire console, everything it's just that glass or whatever. And everything's that touch stuff. And it looks freaking fantastic. It looks like a freaking spaceship. But you have to press it put your finger there just right for the just length of time. Yeah, it's just like, okay,
Yeah.
I think Star Wars, we should have gone that direction with our technology or the interface to the technology.
Not next generation. It's all screens.
Yeah, it's awful. You're doing all the stuff in the air,
Yeah. Maybe it'll be holographic someday, like in the movies. So back to the comments. Morgan Elsbeth. Yeah, that's her name. That's the main chick, the bad guy chick's name. Diana Inosanto's character. She's Morgan. What? I don't remember them ever saying her name in the Mandalorian episode that she was in, but maybe they did. And I just didn't pay attention.
When I saw her, I said, and she was a prisoner. I thought Ahsoka killed her. I got to go back and watch that too. I thought she got killed. Yeah,
but I don't remember them ever saying her name. I thought she was like the magistrate or something like that. I can't remember now. It's been a couple years, I guess, since that came out. But
whatever she was doing there, I guess.
Yeah, they could have came up with a cooler name than Morgan Elsbeth.
Yeah,
maybe there's something
raping
to that
planet for resources.
And he says she ditches them at the crash, and Vader finds them. Yeah, so that's the Ahsoka original sabers. She lost them at the end of season 7.
Okay.
Tamora Morrison is reportedly in the cast for Ahsoka, but in what capacity? I wonder. Is he Boba Fett or is he a clone? So that'd be interesting.
God, I hope that'd be. Hopefully,
another person says 5280 concepts. She never lost them in season 7. She left at least one behind with the dead clone bodies on the crash site, but I thought he picked up 2. Now I got to watch that again.
Yeah.
Props are awesome. Sabine gave it to Bo. Okay, so Sabine gave the Darksaber to Bo Katan.
When did that happen? Was that in the series?
And then Bo lost it to Gideon. That's why Bo didn't want to just take it from the Mando. Has to be one, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but Sabine gave it to her. I kind of remember that, but I have to watch it again. I just don't recall.
There's so much, yeah.
And then Chris Peterson, Scott, all the aliases, T Cruz. He says, "Hi guys." AA Battery, she didn't have the Force, but they're building on George's philosophy of everyone is connected to the Force, but what we call Force sensitive is more akin to natural talent to utilizing it. Yeah, she kind of said that in the show. She goes, well, the Force isn't everyone. And then what'd she say? She said, well, how come everybody doesn't use it? And then she goes, well, it has to do with talent. Which seemed like they're being really snarky to her, like, man, you suck. The whole time.
Yeah.
And especially Huyang, which you can, I guess, forgive because he's a droid, but it has no tact. But
yeah,
but then it was weird that Ahsoka was like
pretty brutal. Yeah.
Yeah. It was weird that Ahsoka's like, you said that to her, but then she gives her shit too all the time.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it, I don't want to do it if you're gonna be asshole to me.
Hey, something else I was when she got run through with the lightsaber. And that happened to Qui-Gon too. I'm sitting there thinking, all they got to do is
just run it sideways.
just dispatch them right there.
Or just up.
Just leave it in there, let it burn. Pull it back.
Or just swirl it around or something.
Yeah,
you're fucked.
Yeah, I don't get that. We're cutting through floors and doors and spaceships, and you just run somebody through.
I mean, you barely have to even try to run them through. You just, that's it.
Yeah.
But there was a funny video. There's a guy who his YouTube channel is, he does impressions of Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor, and Hayden Christensen and they do a deep fake Anakin, a deep fake Obi-Wan, and a deep fake Qui-Gon, and he watches shows and edits the reactions in. Mm-hmm. And I just saw the one for that Ahsoka episode where Qui-Gon's watching it. He's eating popcorn. He's like, "Oh, that's a bad way to go," And then he comes the next episode. She's alive. He's like, "Oh, what the fuck?" He's all pissed off that she's alive. He's like, "How come everybody keeps living after this?"
Yep,
it's just funny.
Yeah.
But let me go back to these comments here. The show takes place 9 years after Rebels. Okay. Good afternoon, gents, from Russell Schmidt. Chris the Nightbringer, hello. Jeff Jackson, 5-ish years after Return of the Jedi. Chris Peterson, Scott T. Cruz says Rex. Yeah, Rex would be awesome. Jeff Jackson. David Yee, gents, that's a hello from Canada. Russell Schmidt, Rex would be sweet. Ninja the Spider, there's a hilarious deepfake comedy bit of the ghost of Qui-Gon reacting to everybody who gets stabbed with lightsaber and survives. That's the one I was talking about. I guess the delay. But anyway, so now we got 14 people on. I guess we've been in 30 minutes already. 38 minutes. Damn.
Yeah, well, we got to tell people about this more in advance if we're going to do this live. Usually me and Scott do this thing like in the morning sometimes and post it the next day, but it'd be real interesting. I wish we could get it to where people could actually, chime in or actually just log in too.
Well, I mean, there are on the YouTube. I'm seeing the live comments on the YouTube, so they can totally do that. It's just there is a delay. So, like, I'm still seeing you gesturing with your arm just from a few minutes ago, or I don't see how long it takes. So that's.
Yeah, we might not have a great connection today, too.
Probably about 15, 20 seconds.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
At the most. Maybe 10. Maybe 10 to 15. I think. Yeah, it's about that long. Yeah, there's your hand again.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Well, okay. So let's talk about the Ahsoka since we got a few more people on. I mean, the Leia.
Yeah. I was watching one of those Big Bang theories, And
I've never seen that show.
really, you
Yeah.
need to. It's really funny, high level humor. These guys are nerds, so they're always Star Wars, D&D, Star Trek. It's really cool. James Earl Jones and Carrie Fisher was actually on one of these episodes, and he goes and rings her doorbell, and they're doing that ring and run thing, and Carrie Fisher comes out. So I'm sitting there thinking, I've never seen this episode, but
Does she is she as herself in that?
yeah,
Or
yeah,
okay.
yeah. She wasn't Leia. They're actually as themselves.
That's cool.
Sheldon's always like stalking them, so he usually gets restraining orders. So and
I've heard it's funny. A lot of people like it.
It is absolutely hilarious. And Wesley Crusher's character, and I can't remember his name, but he's actually in the show quite regularly, as himself, and they're always kind of battling back and forth with the Star Wars, Star Trek thing. So,
So a couple more comments. Star Wars, Russell Schmidt says, Star Wars, you can't kill nobody no more. Kind of. The AA battery. Oh, I love that guy. I've lost count of the number of times I've used Duke Meister. Russell Schmidt, I've seen that meme. It's funny. Fred Emond, you can kill Qui-Gon, but not Sabine? ? Oh no, she's a powerful woman. You can't kill anybody these days.
No, and you know what? She's hot. Let's don't knock her off yet. You know?
I wish they had kept her hair a little bit longer though. I mean, but she did all kinds of stuff with her hair in the cartoon. But I mean, now it's just like the purple is kind of doesn't really stand out. They should have done her like frosted, cool colors.
Well, she changes, so she probably will. She probably
I hope
she'll start graffitiing everything. So
yeah, she was so upbeat in the show, in the cartoon. She's real just kind of blah in this one.
Yeah,
I guess she's kind of dejected for whatever reason that Ahsoka took off. I don't know.
Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how we'll have to see how they develop their characters too. I mean, this season you won't see all that, and hope to God, guys, say good things about it so we get a season 2, and 3, so we actually get to see how this evolves. That's important.
Well, I hope so. I hope just keep it good, please. That's all I care. Just keep it good.
Yeah. Have enough lightsaber battles and blaster battles and a little bit of character content. It's not hard.
Yeah. Couple more comments real quick. There's a Big Bang Theory episode where Howard finds Mark Hamill's dog.
Yeah.
Apparently the first time Carrie Fisher ever met JEJ, I don't know who that is, in person, was on the set of the Big Bang. That must have been the actor.
Yeah.
Or James Earl Jones. Maybe he means James Earl Jones. Russell Schmidt says this is the first time that Carrie and James. Oh, yeah, James. Wesley Crusher's actor is Will Wheaton. Yeah, I know.
That's right. Wheaton. Yeah.
He's a Star Trek fan. That dude is a Star Trek fan. For real. He's all into it, super big into it. I think he's got some kind of podcast or something on that new show as well.
Yeah, I can't keep up. There's so many Star Treks too. I haven't kept up with them like I have with the Star Wars, especially this newer stuff.
Yeah. I think the last Star Trek show I watched was Enterprise when that came out in the early 2000s. Was that when that came out?
I'm watching the new one that I guess has just come out with oh God, what's it called? Can't remember the name, what it's called, but it's got the there again, I'm terrible with names. But it's got Pike as the captain. It's an alternate.
Oh yeah.
And it's pretty good. Some of the episodes getting a little cheesy, but it's still pretty good.
I haven't watched it yet. I think is it maybe because it's on the Peacock, right?
It is, and I don't necessarily like. I love the actor that's playing Spock now, but I don't like what they're doing with his character. They're kind of making him goofy with his feelings and stuff. So, yeah, I'm gonna see how that works out.
Huh. There was a YouTube series. I don't remember what it was called. It was Star Trek, but it was all fan made. But it was pretty cool. They had a bridge. They had an Enterprise bridge. They had pretty good CG effects. They even had Walter Koenig and George Takei come on and do episodes on it too, as their characters, which
Wow.
was super cool. No, was that different characters? They were different characters, but it was super cool. And I don't know what I can't remember what it was called. It just blanked. But anyway, it was cool. It's worth finding. I'll send you a link if I can find it. But
Well, it used to be a lot easier to watch TV and find this crap before we had 39,000 apps that you got to go through to have a TV show now.
Yeah.
Or find a ball game. So
some more comments. Blah, blah, blah. The talk is that Ahsoka is a lead up into Filoni's live action movie debut. I think the series, she's at odds with Ahsoka for leaving, and she doesn't feel like she has a purpose since the war is over and the whole Ghost crew has moved on from her. Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks are both amazing Star Trek shows. Strange New Worlds is worth a watch.
That's a cartoon, I think.
Picard.
Is that a cartoon? Strange New Worlds? I think I saw that. Saw an advertisement for it.
Enterprise was my last series I was into. My wife and I watched that when it came out. That was we dug it. It was cool. The new Star Trek shows are very good in my opinion. Strange New Worlds was fantastic. Most of the rest are garbage. I think it means garbage. It's on Paramount Plus, their own streaming service. That's probably why I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
By the way, Scott, I really like that shirt. Oh, thanks. I've had this for quite a long time. I got it. In fact, I got it when Art did it on the RPF. He said, "Oh, we have shirts." So I bought one, and I was like, "Oh, damn, it's for it fits well. I like this material. It's navy blue, and he had the Chris Army."
Yeah,
and,
I've got one of those.
This is like one of my
somewhere.
favorite shirts. So I don't wear it as much anymore because it'll start to get worn out and get holes and stuff. So I only rotate it in like very. I have a whole bunch of t-shirts now that I'll wash them all. I wear every single one of them. They all get washed and folded, and then I'll just cycle them back through the top. So
yeah.
But
the RPF was a great resource. I still follow it, but man, there's just nothing happening on it anymore. I think everybody's on the Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and whatever else, it's just, I don't see the content going on there anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that on the Facebook and because that's where most questions I see are people ask questions, and I'm like, well, there's a whole thread devoted to that, or there's a lot of misinformation now too. People
you go
say it, and then all of a sudden it becomes
you can learn how to build just about any blaster. You can see its origins. I mean, there's so much research on there that stays there. The Facebook is like, hey, I just 3D printed this piece of junk, here everybody ooh and ah. It's like, well, what the hell is it? It's no build progress, no finding cool parts. I mean, it's just some of that just drives me nuts.
Yeah. So he says Lower Decks is animated, Strange New Worlds is Pike's Enterprise live action.
Yeah, okay.
Same thing. Next comment is pretty much the same thing. That's a killer shirt too, Chris. Your Blaster Factory. I think the Chris Army one.
Oh yeah.
I think my wife makes that joke. I say, "Oh, I was talking to Chris." She's like, "That's like saying you were talking to somebody." It's
no kidding.
Like, yeah, okay, that's cool. So yeah, she's like, "Well, which Chris?" And then I'll tell the last name, and if it's not very specific, she's like, "I don't know which Chris that is."
Like, when people call, they'll call the shop here and they'll order something or get help with a build, and I'll pick up the phone and say, "Hey, somebody's got text for me. Say, hey, this is Chris," and they go, "Can I speak to Field Marshal?" I'm like, "That's me." Okay.
That's funny.
I'm Field Marshal.
There's so many Chris's. Chris Travis, Chris Rife. Chris Scott Peterson, which is all the same person, T. Cruz, and there's Chris Vandenberg, and then there's Chris Young.
Look, by the way, guys, I found this in an antique shop. I know it's not a freaking antique. It's made probably, I don't know.
It's cool.
It wasn't. It was really cheap. But what got my attention is, Chris, like you just said, Chris Travis. He's one of the artists that made
Yeah.
this. So when I saw it, and I like getting these tins. I've got several of them that I
He
hang
does a
up
lot
in my
of art
shop.
for Lucasfilm.
Yeah, and I've got several of them. I hang them up wherever, all around. But
I have a couple of his prints. I'm doing a Batman neck because, man, I don't know what I did. I slept wrong, and nowadays, if you're in your late 40s, when you sleep, you just injure yourself somehow. But I have a couple of his prints somewhere that I got from. It's pretty badass. I'll show you. Super cool. If this is what it is.
I don't know this. I think that's Master's replica. I don't know where I found that thing at.
Man, I got stuff. You don't even know what I got. I maybe need to give some stuff away. Check this out.
Oh wow, that's cool.
It's a photo print. It's a 16 by 20.
Yeah. I found this at a curio shop a couple weeks ago. I forgot to even post it. But
That's lucky.
Yeah, that's real lucky because this thing was $5.
$5?
$5.
Man, the cheapest I see them is like 100 nowadays. Yeah. Oh, here it is. Yeah, these are awesome. So I'm just promoting Chris Travis's artwork, but it's super cool. So here's one of them.
Yeah,
this was badass. It's like when she gets taken, and the likenesses are amazing. Super good. And then let's see, which is the other one? Yeah, this is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Han's like, whoa, what are you wearing?
No doubt. Why you need to put that? You need to have them framed.
I know that's the goal. I just forgot about them because they're in these tubes, and I just completely forgot about them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the goal, is to have them framed. I have some signed pictures. I have a bunch of actually photographic prints of stuff that the goal was to get framed, and I haven't done that yet.
Well, you got your little office there is really nice. When I do the little videos that I do, I've got another room where I've got all my props behind it, of builds and stuff I do. I'm actually filming this in my little R&D office. And you notice behind me, there is all kinds of stuff back here that pertains to pneumatics and paintball guns and all kinds of bits and pieces to build future props too. Not quite as organized as what you're doing, but
yeah, check this one out. This one is kind of neat.
Wow. Where'd you find all that stuff?
Huh?
Where'd you find all that stuff?
This was Celebration.
Okay.
They were sold at Celebration. And then this one, I thought I had given this away or sold it, but I guess I didn't. This is a pretty cool one.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really long. So maybe we should maybe I'll find one of these to give away as a contest or something late in the future.
That's cool.
I gave away a signed Leia print, Carrie Fisher print, when I hit certain number of subscribers on my Facebook.
Yeah. Some
lady who just loved Carrie Fisher got it, so that was super cool.
Hey, is anybody? I'm actually going to. I don't know if anybody's heard about this, but Dragon Con is in Atlanta this weekend, and I've actually got tickets to that. So if anybody that's watching is going to Dragon Con, hit me up. I'll be down there. I'll meet you in the cantina, buy you a beer, cocktail.
That's cool. I haven't been to a celebration or anything like that in quite a while now.
Once they pop up, I never been able to get tickets for one. It's always too late.
Oh, yeah, you got to do it way in advance. Well,
we've had all this goofy crap with flying and COVID and stupid shit.
Yeah, that's why I hadn't gone to the last couple.
Yeah, that'd be really neat to go do that.
Let's see some of the comments, and then we'll get into the Leia giveaway.
Yeah.
They did a crossover between the two, which is one of my favorite episodes of Trek. So I guess a crossover between Lower Decks and the Strange New Worlds. 100% agree, Chris, but I don't know what he's agreeing with since we got such a delay. I really only see posts for the bigger screen accurate runs like the Veracity V2 run that's been going on for like a year and a half. Yeah, that thing is I hope that happens sooner than later.
What is it?
The V2 from Veracity Labs.
Okay.
The Luke Saber.
I thought people were already making those.
Yeah, they do. Souls Hold made one. I gave them the specs for it, but they didn't all translate to the machined part. And but it's all fixable. That's all.
You know who has the real one, don't you?
Yeah, Brandon does.
Well, tell Brandon to come off the hip, send it over here to Blaster Factory, and I'll put that thing on a laser. I'll scan that bad boy.
That ain't happening. He won't. Yeah. That will never be out of his sight. I bet. You'd have to go to him and scan it.
Yeah. Well,
but
that's possible too.
If we could incentivize it, maybe I bet some proceeds from that could put his kid through college. That might his kids.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe that would be incentive enough. But yeah, so Souls Hold did this one. This one's pretty good. There's only one measurement I forgot to give him, which is of course the one that can't be fixed, which is this little space in between the two cubes. It's like 0.5 millimeter, like too wide.
Oh God. The bane of my existence, the never-ending evolution of the replica prop. You know,
Yeah.
You always discover one more thing and one more thing and one more thing.
Yeah. But the Veracity Labs one is hoping to be pretty good. The Dave Parkin one is pretty good. Now, they're all good. They're all within like 1% of each other. Man, it's ridiculous. The Anakin Starkiller one, this one, they're almost nearly identical, and because everybody's going off of the same couple pictures and scaling it and doing their own scaling from those and known parts. So they're all super close. Just pick one, whichever one you like the most. And once you paint them up and weather them up, there it's there. It's as close as you're gonna get.
You know, I've always wanted to do a lightsaber, but so many they're all done like over and over and over and over.
Not these new Ahsoka ones yet, I guess.
I'm sure somebody will announce that, but you know,
I'm sure they've already in CAD and everything by this point.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind doing something like that. I just don't want to be, one of 50 people making it. At least when you do stuff like this, you either buy a junky plastic 3D printed one, or you kind of unique. That's what I like about this stuff.
Let me catch up on these comments and then we'll do that. So then someone says, Sheldon spends the day with James Earl Jones, then plays Ding Dong Ditch on Carrie Fisher. I'm the Gobbler on RPF. That's Jeff Jackson.
Okay.
Chris Peterson. A lot of us named Chris for sure. They spelled his name wrong on the sign. Oh, must have spelled Chris Travis's name. David Yee. Unless I'm mistaken, he did the sticker on the new retro Ahsoka chopper figure. Chris Peterson, sticker and the card back. That's cool. 5280 Concept says, in order to get them hung on the wall, you have to take down some of the action figure display. Not sure which makes me more sad, not showing the art or not showing the figures. Yeah, this figures up here behind me. I bought these. I started getting into those in the 90s when those came back out. So it was like, what, 95-ish? So new figures, that was like I was like, holy crap, these are cool. They had buff Mega Luke and everybody was super ripped at first. And so I bought all those, and they went from the orange cards to the green cards, and then they had hologram ones mixed in. And then I didn't get everything, but I got some of them because I was in college at the time, so I could barely, it was like eat or buy a Star Wars figure. So I had to decide which one was going to be more important to me. And then I got some Phantom Menace ones before the movie came out. And then the others are gifts from episode 2. And that's it. And then I stopped buying figures. And then I started getting the old figures again and rebuying the ones that I had sold when I was a kid.
You know, I had every single one of those, and I think they're probably upstairs in the attic at my parents' house still. But I played with them, so they're going to be tore up. But
Yeah, you know, what's funny is when Empire Strikes Back came out, I took my Luke figure and I took scissors and cut off his hand because he gets his hand cut off in the movie.
yeah,
So I had my Luke. If anybody ever finds a Luke figure with the hand cut off, that was mine. But I'm sure some other kid had that idea.
Yeah.
Let's see. Everyone who had Russell Schmidt, everyone who has the parts drawer, say me, dude. I don't have a drawer. Well, I do have a drawer. A drawer with a Ziploc bag full of all original parts. I got like Mauser parts. I got all kinds of bullshit in here. And then it's just strewn about, well, behind the camera is my RO72. I've got Luke V2 levers just sitting
We're
around.
digging around. But this parts bin right here.
Oh my God, there's a
This-
$10,000 parts bin.
I noticed the other day this all ended up on the floor. All my original, balance pipe and all this stuff for an OB1 build. I was using it as a doorstop the other day.
Yeah, mine's in a display cabinet over there, but I got just
About $1 zillion worth of stuff there.
shit laying around like these. These are important. If you do a Return of the Jedi blaster, Han Solo, you need to have one of these things cut down
Yeah.
because it goes right there.
Did I cut that for you? That's one of mine, ain't it?
I don't know if it's this one. I've cut one myself, but this one might be one you cut.
Let me see the front piece there. The knob. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Because that's a newer version of that scope mount.
Yeah, this is the one I cut down myself. It has the
Yep.
lines in it.
Yep.
And there's just stuff laying around everywhere, dude. Like vintage V8 parts. This is gonna go on the Bespin blaster.
Yeah.
There's another vintage V8 F4 Phantom E part, which you can see the kit kind of back down there.
Yep.
There's stuff everywhere. Parts everywhere. Oh, I got like these photo multiplier things. I've got a tube over there. I've got
Those are so cool. I love that. This is sitting in front of my desk too. That's the original steel sight that I made for the Mauser, the first one off
Wow.
the machine.
the first one.
The first one. That is an intricate little piece of machining. And
Yep.
by the way, I do have an update on that because I think I told you, Scott. I ain't told anybody else in the world, but I am currently getting the molds made to do the cast DL44. Kind of like the way the MGC's made.
Yeah.
And that right there will be really cool because that'll bring the cost of that replica way down. So we'll be able to have kind of both versions of that. So
Yeah.
but that'll happen next year.
This is an original cone
Yeah.
knob.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got just stuff everywhere. Let's see the comments real quick. Always want to get down to Dragon Con. I've been to SDCC many times when I used to live in California. I'm in South Carolina now. Brandon won't let anyone take measurements. People have tried. Yeah, I know. Brandon said that the lightsaber was the most he'd ever paid for anything, including the house. Yes, that came from me because that's what he told me.
Yeah.
He who makes the best Luke V2? Everyone. They're all good. We were just saying that. They're all within like 1 or 2%. Jeff, just pick one, whichever one meets your budget. I'm happy with my Solos Hold one until something else comes up, but
I hadn't heard from him very much. Is he still doing anything?
I don't know if he's machined anything new lately, to be honest. I don't know. The Nerfworks lab thing, we all used to talk all the time, but then there wasn't much for me to do. I mean, I advise and talk, but I have opinions, but I wasn't making any of the stuff. He was making it. He's designing it all himself and making it all himself. I know Shane would get on him about things like, hey, make it this way because it's easier to install. And since I don't really do installs anymore, I just,
Yeah.
whatever. But I'll have accuracy opinions on help. And I think we've been talking about maybe revisiting this a little bit to improve. There's just a couple of things that didn't translate to the production run that were in my measurements that need to just get dialed in. And that's it, really. This
Well,
one's pretty.
it's hard, and a lot of you guys out there don't realize how much collaboration happens to improve these things. But just on this one, getting the right pictures, and you did a lot of work on getting me the best possible, clearest pictures to do this. I don't show up good. I'm about to do something. My camera sucks.
It's trying to focus. It's trying to focus.
There it goes.
Yeah.
But trying to get those ridges, because those resin cast ones where you see in the pictures, I made about 3 attempts at that before I got one that everybody kind of agreed on.
Yeah, it's tough, but it helps to have more help. More images. And then Chris Reif and Travis came through with those pictures of their
thank you. Yes.
Original one. Anyway, so let's see. Corbanth is doing Inquisitor hilt, and KR has opened the pre-orders for the Sabine's hilt. He also said he's doing the rest of the hilts too. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. There's people on those Ahsoka hilts already. Chris,
I'd love to do one of those, but I don't know. I've just never had the time, I guess.
your Obi-Wan sitting on the floor is the most expensive doorstop he's ever seen.
Yeah.
Souls Hole's working on a pair of Ahsokas right now. Okay.
I'm gonna go put that back in the safe, by the way. I forgot I'd left that out and doing something with it, and just
Then Nate is here, and he says yes, improve the V2, correct pommel cubes and grenade grip section. The grenade grip section is correct in spacing, dimensions, everything. It's just that the plunge cuts were not quite deep enough to get these ribs the perfect width on the outside, but everything, all the depths and everything are perfect.
I've looked into that, doing one of those grenades and doing that type of hilt. Number one, you'd have to have special tooling, probably a form tool to do that. I don't know if he went through the steps to
I don't know how he machined this, but I've gone through inserts for machining inserts just to see whatever they made. They may have had their own tool that they just may have had a blank that they made into a diamond
they formed themselves. I mean, that was very common. The machines go there and grind their own tool for it,
because this is not a standard. This is not a standard
off the shelf. Yeah,
and it doesn't. And the original prop does not have a sharp point to it.
So is that actually in the real prop? Is that actually a grenade part, or is that just where they were copying the other?
They were copying the Obi-Wan. They just made it a facsimile of it. They were just kind of getting it to look like it was a stunt thing. Right. It was a stunt for Star Wars. So they just needed to kind of resemble it, not be exact. That's why it doesn't have the vertical cuts or anything like that.
Okay.
But and there's people say it's cast, but even the cast ones, the cuts, the plunge cuts are not a sharp point. And I've seen the real V2 up close. They whatever that cutter was had a rounded tip. Not big, but it was, not like, most inserts you get for turning tools have a very sharp point or have a slight radius to them.
Right.
And the pommel cubes, everything's right except for the base of the pommel cube is just a little too thin. It needs to flare out a little bit, and it's minor, so that it visually doesn't bother me too much on this one. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with it. And then there's the nipple. At first, I can't remember how it went, but anyway, there's a little ledge there that needs to come up just a tad because that got adjusted and never taken back out. But yeah, this is not perfect. None of them are perfect.
Well, what I'm happy about this right here, the first couple versions I made, looking at the picture, I had totally different, more intricate cuts and all this stuff. And turns out this is nothing more than a grooving tool that's going in and out. It turned out to be a lot easier to make it, which I found out a lot in some of the props I've done. The pictures and the lighting make something look different than what, some machinist has done on a little manual machine. So it was easy. So sometimes we overthink it.
There's of course there's endless debate on uniform versus ununiform rings on the grenade. Well, I've seen it up close. None of it's uniform. I think it was their own cutter. Yeah, I think it was too. They just made a blank. They just had like a tooling blank, and they just make it a diamond shape. Just used it. Because they did that quick. They didn't spend it. They didn't agonize over it.
If you've ever, a lot of guys maybe not machinists or seen them, but the old, if you're a manual machinist, I mean, you're gonna have a toolbox over there. You might have all kinds of stuff you formed and done and used and for other projects, so they could have grabbed anything. It's going to be,
Yeah, I know when I have to make a scrap piece for something just to make something work, I'm just run through it and get it done. I don't really think too much about it. I'll make sure the diameters are where it needs to be or the length or something, but other than that, just
you have to post a video one day if you ever have to do one of those male balance pipes. The Inconel.
Those suck.
I hate cutting Inconel. I hate cutting titanium. I've got a paintball gun project right now where the bolt and the little spool system, it's got a titanium rod. That shit sucks.
I'm not a machinist by trade or anything. I don't know feeds and speeds or anything. I just know that hobbyist in the garage with a lathe doing stuff, figuring stuff out. But I just know that doing the balance pipe, it'll destroy carbide, high speed steel. It doesn't matter what it is. It just kills it. And it work hardens. As you're cutting it, it gets harder and harder.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That material is, it's cool for what it does, but making it, there must be a process to making it, annealing it or something to where it can be worked. I don't know.
God, I don't know either. I haven't.
Can you soften stuff to work on it and then reharden it? Like copper and brass?
Yeah. Oh man. You know what? On these little guys here, speaking of copper, the little power cylinders that I make, I got a little slot in the side because this is these are two big capacitors on the tube array, and it shows some little thing inside. So I used to put this little copper rod in there to join them together. And this little slot, you can't see it real good, I guess, but you can kind of see it there. But I was doing that in copper, and all I was doing was just little rod, just parting them off, and drilling, tapping these little 5 BA screws to go in it. Holy cow. That stuff's like trying to cut chewing gum, except it's hard. It's the weirdest thing. It just broke all kinds of shit. Copper's very hard to machine.
Yeah.
I eventually just quit doing that and started doing them in aluminum and sent them off to the anodizer who had a copper anodize. So easier.
Yeah, copper sucks, dude. It's expensive too. It's expensive.
Yeah. Yep.
But here's a couple comments. The running theory is that it was made from a wood buck off of Obi-Wan, and they then used to make the metal hilt. Yeah, they made a wood buck and then cast it, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we won't ever know for sure, but there's lots of the scrutiny that's gone into the V2 over the years is awesome. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. We've analyzed. I was obsessed with this I'm still obsessed with this lever. I know there's theories of what it could be and what it might be. Till we find it,
God, I love when somebody finds a part, especially now out of the old series. Man, that is so awesome. 6-8 years ago when I first started doing this, that would just blow up everywhere on RPF and White Armor and all these. Everybody'd be talking about it for weeks. Now somebody finds a part, it's like nobody gives a shit.
Well, what's funny is this damn boot stud for the V2.
Yep.
Then it turns out it's on all kinds of shit. But when I saw this in my hand, because we had seen years of people thinking it was first it was a Philister screw, then it was like a square block, and somebody must have discovered that it was finally square. And when I finally saw it in my hand and I saw this exact part on the real thing, I was like, I don't know what that is, but it's like a pyramid shape with a knurl on top, and it's not. They didn't make this for it was a found part. I knew it was a found part when I saw it. I was like, man, it's just too crazy. Then so I told Aaron exactly what it was. And then when I saw that it was on the bunker bombs, I finally had a good picture of it. And then I told Aaron, okay, this is it. And we got Gus to give us the dimensions off of the one from his bunker bomb. And that was the best replica up to that point, but it was still a little off. The machine tolerance came out a little bit off. But then
Machine it, that's a fast part. It'd be hard to machine that. It's it's like a reverse. So you got to you can machine down in the mold and make that shape. But if you try to do the opposite, it's a lot harder.
Yeah, I think he had a hard time making them.
Yeah.
And then when Brian found that these were boot studs, that was the game changer. It was like, that was a cool discovery. That's on my YouTube or Patreon or something. The whole him talking about discovering that, and then how we tried to buy as many we could to keep the scalping down.
Yeah.
Because we knew that it was going to be one of those things that, $100 pair of boots, and then you get a shit ton of these things on there, and someone was going to charge $40 a piece for them.
Yeah. Well, send me one. I'll cast that thing for nothing.
Yeah, now everybody makes it. Roy makes one.
Yeah.
There's plenty of real ones out there floating around now.
Yeah.
But okay, let's go back to this.
Yeah, also we probably better. I think some people have been sending me messages on my, oh man. Did I just jump out?
No, you're here.
Okay.
Need horsepower to cut incon. Also, the heat is in the chip, not the work piece. Don't be shy cutting it. Need a decent dock. Old timers swear by milk for cutting copper. Speaking of guns, he also owns the V2 Buck. Gus, I can't read. Speaking of Gus, yeah, he owns. Gus has a lot of crazy shit. There's a cool. I did an interview with him. I need to maybe follow up and do another one. But I think let's go ahead and do this giveaway or spin it so we can pick a winner.
Let's see. Yes, I'm saying I'm actually getting messages on my Facebook that I'm not paying attention to. Sorry. I didn't realize people were doing that, bro.
Yeah, me either. It's okay. I think just the YouTube live chat is hard enough to keep up with.
Yeah,
we only got 17 people watching. I can't imagine those big ones who got like, maybe that's why they have the super chats where they can notice the people who send in a paid comment or whatever.
Well, shoot, man, I think I got about 20 messages over there I haven't even looked at. We got to fix it where this is a little easier format too, because it'd be interesting to see people if they've got some cool parts that they could show us too. So,
yeah, I don't know how we do that. Scott Berry, hi everyone. I guess he's just late to the party, but okay, let's do this and then we can chat some more. Let me get my screen up for the Leia giveaway. Okay, let's share the screen. Where is it? Here it is. Boom. Share. All right. This is the I've inputted. You can see this, right?
I can, yeah.
Okay, I've got everybody's names from who are qualified and who are in the original contest, made the comment and everything. And there are a couple doubles up for the Patreon supporters who get an extra one because that's how it is. And I'm going to pick a random item now, which will pick whoever's going to win. Here we go.
Fancy.
Chris Young. No way. Wow. That's crazy. You know what's funny is I ran this as a test the other day just to make sure everything worked in preparation.
Yeah.
And I did it like maybe 150 times to see if it was coming up random. And it was, but his name came up 3 times in the testing. And Chris Peterson too. The mailman. You know what? Let me come back to you talk to everybody while I go check the mail real quick.
You want to do a little dance, entertain everybody? Yay! Okay, Chris. I think you already have one of these, don't you? You need to find somebody new to give that to or something, or give away your old one if you already have one. But yeah, that's super cool, man. Trying to go look and see if there's any see. Yeah, Lisa's at, I'm not at Dragon Con yet. That will be, I'm going to leave actually tomorrow. This thing's 4 or 5 days over a bunch of different hotels everywhere. So I'm actually staying in the Marriott and I've never been there before. So I'm going to wander around aimlessly. And believe it or not, I have 2 tickets to go to Dragon Con, and nobody wants to go with me from here. Nobody's getting off work. So, you know, hell, I got an extra ticket. So.
Sorry, I had to.
Scott's back.
Normally my mailman will leave packages, but this I had to sign for. So, anyway, so let me see. David Lee says, "Lol, nice." Chris Peterson, he doesn't need it. Haha. I texted Chris Young to let him know, and yeah, I mean, but he's a nice guy. He's a super nice guy. So
Yeah, he is. Yep.
Wow, is it just now catching up to that?
Is it? I can't tell.
Weird. I don't know. It looks like the feed is showing me about to click on the thing, but they already know it. So that's weird. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, he'll enjoy it. So I guess I'll get with him. And the good part is it's easy. I'm in contact with him pretty often, so I don't have to find out who he is.
Well, yeah, now you can spend like 6 weeks, 8 weeks making the thing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, he is an awesome guy. He's a super nice nice guy. Well, that's cool. That's exciting. I can't believe it did that. But you guys all saw it. It was live, so there was no cheating.
Yeah. Yep. That is super cool. Hey, you know what? I started doing something else that doesn't pertain to any of this crap, but yeah, I started working on a machine to make chainmail.
What?
Yeah. You know, I actually own a chainmail shirt that is, I don't know how many hundreds of years old. And then believe it or not, it's hanging in the restroom in the men's room. It's kind of, I need to get it out and clean it up. It's getting kind of rusty looking. But this is actually aluminum, and I'm working on a machine that'll actually make them and have a couple different applications. But I think it'd be really cool to have some chainmail shirts and things. I've always wanted to do.
Wow, that's
I'm not gonna
crazy.
sit there and do that by hand. So
how do you even do? I mean, that's nuts. How does a machine do it?
Let you know when I get all that worked out.
Whoa, because doing it by hand would suck.
Oh my God, yeah, no, definitely.
You're doing it out of steel by hand,
and
each one of the links has to be brazed or something, right?
So they
can't just fall apart, or
no, I mean, I think it's actually a ring where they used to wrap it around a dowel and then clip them off, and then that ring you would actually open it like this and then put another ring in there.
Just squeeze it closed.
Yeah, you have to close them. Yeah.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah. And that real shirt that I have, that thing, oh my God, it's heavy. It is so heavy. I don't know how anybody wore armor back then. It'd be terrible. I mean, your back and your knees, all that you just destroy yourself.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty cool footage of how people put on actual old armor, and it's really flexible. It's more flexible than you think. It's like you have a lot of movement.
Yeah. Well, I guess you'd have to balance it between actually you're wearing the stuff and it actually protects you. It's thick enough or covers enough area, because you're definitely going to be slower. I think you'd do better not wearing any armor, have one of those rapier swords and just be poking holes in people. Plate mail would be just I don't know how they did it. Ride a horse. Yeah. Let the horse move around.
Yeah. Nate asks, Chris, are you making the chainmail out of PVC plastic? No, he said aluminum.
It's aluminum. It's actually, I've got kind of a cross project going with another paintball company doing some stuff for them too, but I'm going to branch out and actually go into more cosplay. There's actually a right behind my building, and I forget the name of the company, but they actually make a bunch of costumes, like medieval costumes, Renaissance type stuff. They're making leather armor and metal helmets, and they've created a nice little business. There's about 20 people over there just manufacturing that stuff for shows and Comic-Cons and stuff.
Wow. Let's see, go back here. Okay. Well, I mean, we've been on for quite a while now, 84 minutes.
Yeah, I know we probably made some people miss their lunch break, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, we can cut it off, I guess. I know
Yeah.
you guys still got stuff to do. Could make some Grogu best car shirts. Yeah, that was chainmail, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Didn't think about that.
You
Yeah.
can make a little Grogu shirt with the Mando. Doesn't they have that like the whatever the hell Mudhorn thing on there
I
as
think
well?
so. I have to go look into that. Yeah. It'd take a little while. I'll figure all that stuff out.
Nate said, I know Weta Workshop made a machine that created plastic rings so they could make a light chainmail for the actors.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm sure. Yeah, yeah. When you see that stuff in the movies, those are plastic rings, I'm sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. We had to do when I was working at Blue Realm, we did some prop restoration for some stuff that came out of Weta. Man, they have foam. They have lots of foam too. They did a lot of foam, but it's like really nice. You can't once it's painted from a distance, you can't tell it's foam.
Well, at the beginning of the video, I showed that dragon head, 2 of them that I'm painting. They're foam. There's an artist that's outside of Atlanta that does them. He does props and facades for buildings and all kinds of theatrical stuff. He carved that out of styrofoam.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's really, really good at it.
The thing I had to restore, one of the things was the Endo suit from Elysium. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, how they got those Endo suits and with all the linkages and shit that, give them like cyber strength. I had to repair and remake a bunch of the stuff that was on one of those Endo suits, and almost all of it was foam.
Yeah.
And all the the adornments on the boots and everything, and foam is super cool. And they have I guess they make their own decals and stuff like that. They're just like water slide decals that they'll put on it for details. And
Yeah.
that is really good.
Neat.
Yeah.
That's fun stuff. Wish you lived closer, man. We could start up a little factory over there, because I hate painting blasters and stuff. I hate having to do it. Just want to
work.
build the kits. It's
fun though.
It's a lot of work. I mean,
I think it's fun in a small capacity. I don't know about a large capacity.
well, it's different when you've got to do, you get one of those days where you have to do 10 in a row, where you just,
Yeah,
I don't do what you do as far as making them accurate. I mean, I'm do like that, one color stuff, but
yeah, there was I think when we first started the steel Mausers, I had like 10 of them here all at once. I was doing that was pretty hardcore doing them all at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of like a production, because I would fire blue all the stuff at once, and then paint all the sidebars and stencil them all at once, and then cold blue everything at once. And I tried to do methodical, and then finish each one up as it came, but that's a lot.
Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll do some more live stuff like this and be able to get I'm talking to my guy here, see if we can't figure out a way to get everybody where they can chime in. We can bring people in to talk a little bit too. I think that'd be cool. Surely.
Yeah. I mean, if at least we got the chat, people are on there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we could even do once a week, talk about the episode or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be good. Absolutely.
See how feasible that is.
Yeah. I'm good with it.
All right, y'all. Thanks for watching.
Yes. Everybody have a good week. I'll try to post some stuff from Dragon Con down there, and I'm sure there'll be a lot to look at. So
hopefully this will be up on YouTube after it goes live. I don't know if it just automatically gets uploaded or if I have to do anything. I'll figure that out.
Yep. Text me.
All right. I'm going to hit stop.